My video just got interrupted, and I wanted to stop it, to put it on pause, but I just unnecessarily just ended it. So I'll go all over it again. So today we'll be talking about the case of, again, within those series of, I had only one video about that, so that's not really a series yet. So we'll talking. The topic of today's video will be, again, the reason why do we keep hurting, or why do we keep getting hurt in the gym. And so today's case will be about like the specific case when somebody has a very good training, so all the training variables are in a sense optimized, we can say so, but recovery is the only thing that holds us back. So let's talk about the recovery. In simpler terms, recovery is something that allows us to get our training to work, actually. So after a hard training session, we need to sleep well and eat enough in order to get stronger and bigger out of the training session. So it is, in a sense, where it is necessary to collect our results from training to sleep well and to eat well. Well, to nourish our body with enough calories and enough nutrients. So good diet where you eat enough, right? And when it comes to sleep well, I'm talking about both the quality of sleep and the duration of it. So 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep is something that is deemed by many optimal. It's something that, like, you're getting maximal adaptations from that amount. Some say it is higher, it may be like 9 hours, some say even 10 hours, but for most people, sleeping that much is not realistic, even though for me it is, because I'm on a vacation right now. But I don't sleep that much anyways. At least my sleep is, I never sleep uninterrupted for 9 hours. This is just not realistic for me. 7 to 8 hours, however, that is closer to the truth. That is closer to something that we all can get, even though there are a minority of people who still can't do that, because they work for 16 hours, and so they only can can allow themselves to sleep for 6 hours. In this case, yeah. Anyway, I'm coming off topic so easily. I should come back right away. Anyway, yeah. So when it comes to recovery, there are two components, of course: sleep and diet. So when it comes to your sleep, this is where the majority of muscular adaptations occur. Not only muscular, all sorts of recovery shit, occurs during sleep, like 80%. So if you want to recover well, this is like the number one thing that you should take into consideration, that your sleep should be on point. Because if it's not, obviously sleep on its own won't build muscle. If you're decently lean, if you're like below 15% body fat, you won't be building muscle by sleeping alone. You need caloric surplus, you need to eat more than your maintenance. So you need to gain weight, basically. This is what it means. But the thing is, gaining weight on its own wouldn't work either. If your sleep is very subpar, the ratio of muscle to fat gain will be very skewed towards fat gain, because the worse your sleep is, the lesser quality of your sleep is, the lesser the duration of it is, the less effective are the adaptations that you're making in regards to training during that sleep. And so basically what it means is that for those little adaptations, for the lesser degree of the adaptations that occur, you just need lesser amount of calories compared to the situation where your sleep is normal. And then you would need, like, let's say normally you would need like 300 calories to recover well and to realize all possible adaptations. But when your sleep is insufficient, like you sleep 5 hours, well, your recovery capacities, the amount of adaptations you're making is twice as little. So it's like 50% off. And so now you need only 150 calories to realize those adaptations. But the thing is, with a small surpluses like that, it's kind of hard to track, and it's very difficult to know by feel whether or not the surplus is 150. This is the thing with bulking. Like, if you want it to work well, you need to make sure that you accumulate a lot of stimulus. So you actually need large surplus to recover. Like, it can't go to waste. I mean, it can go to waste, but you'll just gain more. You'll just gain more fat out of it. So when you're bulking, you need to make sure that you train hard and you also sleep hard in a sense, because if you don't, you will only recover from 50% as much adaptations as you could have. So your muscular gains will be twice as slow if you're sleeping like 5 hours instead of 7 to 8, So this is something to take into account. So in a situation where your sleep is insufficient, is subpar, but your surplus is effective, but your surplus is as effective as it needs to be in a situation where your sleep is actually decent and you have a lot of stimulus to recover from. Yes, those little adaptations that are still prevalent, where when your sleep is insufficient, when your sleep is subpar, will occur because your surplus is more than sufficient. But the thing is, the ratio will be much more skewed towards the fat gain rather than to muscular gain. If normal ratio would be like 70 to 30%, 70% muscle, 30% fat. If we're talking about 300% surplus, or 300%, motherfucker, are you stupid? 300 calorie surplus after a hard full body workout, then if your sleep will be just, very insufficient, you'll only need 150. And so those other 150 will go straight towards the fat. So now the ratio will be like 20 to 80, 20% muscle, eat 80% fat, which is, typically not what we want. I mean, it's still something. It's still 20% of muscle, but why 20% of muscle when you can get 70% of muscle by sleeping well? And there are much more benefits to sleeping well rather than just gaining muscle, Good energy levels, you're thinking well, you're basically at your intellectual peak. I mean, you just function well as a person, you feel well. I mean, there are lots of benefits to sleeping well. So it's just very stupid. It's very stupid of me, for example, that I spent so many times scrolling through fucking TikTok before time bed, and it just killed my sleep quality. First of all, I was cutting my sleep time, the times that I was supposed getting myself busy with sleeping. I was just scrolling TikTok, so I decrease my sleep time, and it also decreases your sleep quality even more, because blue lights, it takes you longer to fall asleep, and you just wake up a few times. I mean, it's just fucking scrolling on Instagram, whenever, on your phone, like for 30 minutes before you go to sleep, like decreases your effectiveness of muscular adaptation at least like by 40%, which is fucking tremendous, you know? This is fucking terrible, motherfucker. So we can't allow ourselves to make make that rookie mistake, because it's like rookie mistake, motherfucker. It's just so low hanging fruit. Just sleep well, and here you have it, amazing growth, you know. But we don't do that because for some it's actually way more challenging to follow our bedtime rather than to train harder than last time, you know. And yeah, so when it comes to the case where our sleep is subpar but our calorie surplus isn't, we understand we just gain less muscle and more fat. This is what happens. But it's still not the worst outcome. The worst outcome, however, is in a situation where our sleep is subpar and we don't even have sufficient surplus. In this case, what happens is not only we don't gain any muscle out of it, but also, I mean, even though it also applies to the situation where your sleep is subpar, even if your surplus is sufficient, if your sleep is subpar, it is very common to develop, aches and pains, like chronic pain all over your tendons, your ligaments, especially when you're training, especially hard. And so you just eventually wouldn't even be able to, lift the same weights that you used to, because you just don't allow you don't allow your tendons to recuperate. So sleep is very, very important for that. Even to maintain your performance during hard training, you need to sleep well. This is fucking essential. Yeah, I mean, basically, as I said, you're just collecting the results of your hard work in the gym. And if you're not doing that work, I mean, if you're not doing, your body a favor of sleeping well and eating well, you're just not collecting. You're not collecting as much results as you could. And in worst case, you ain't collecting anything. You actually will get, you'll get hurt basically from not collecting the results. I mean, it's just so fucking stupid. Like somebody, like people who do the same workout, not even the same. Like there could be a person that half-asses their workouts, or at least maybe not half-asses, but that trains hard, but whose fatigue management is completely out of whack during training. But because his recovery is on point, he actually gets good results from that. At least yet. At least as long as he doesn't get too strong. Because the moment he gets very strong, very high numbers, well, now obviously the fatigue management will be the limiting factor no matter what, because of the human nature. And so, and there could be other guy that trains as hard as him, as hard as the other guy, but just has better fatigue management, So keeps reps in reserve when needed, chooses exercises that are, have advantageous SFR, etc. But just because his sleep is bad, even if his surplus is there, if his sleep is subpar, like his muscles will grow very slowly, and on top of that, he eventually risks developing, aches and pains all over his body. Chronic pains in his elbow, wrist, like everywhere basically. Every body part that he trains hard will hurt, and his performance eventually will start to stall and go down, because his tendons are degrading because of how insufficient his sleep is. And so he will have it. There could be a person that trains better but gets worse results, objective, maybe not even worse, maybe just negative results, even though his training is objectively better. if 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 it would be compared to another person, like if person, let's say person A is the one that trains very well but has poor recovery, and the person B is the one that trains hard but stupid but has very good recovery. Like if you would to put person B on if we would make person B to train the way person A does, he would get better results. But the thing is, person A, person A just doesn't collect the results of hard training sessions, and this is why he just gets negative results. Like he would basically, like such people would basically, I mean, such people. I am that guy. I am that guy that made those mistakes. So you'll just be better off not training at all and sleeping, and you would gain more muscle just by walking, you know, and not by actually training. So, motherfuckers, I right now I'm talking to myself. This is just a very important message to myself. If you want to get good results, if you want to get, you know, if you want your results to be as good as your training is, you need to make your recovery as good as your training is. And this is it. Obviously, it's easier said than done because there are multiple components to recovery. You're the motherfucker, 2 components to recovery. I mean, yeah, maybe it takes some wisdom, practice, and discipline, and fucking experience to be able to, you know, sleep well, eat enough, make sure that you're getting busy during the day so you actually fall asleep. I mean, of course, obviously it's actually a bit harder to do when you have nothing to do, because you know, when you have nothing to do, there's always a temptation to do nothing. I mean, there's always the temptation to waste your time, waste your energy away. Not even your energy, waste your time away, waste your life away, just for nothing, because you have nothing to do, because you just lack the intelligence and the imagination to find out something interesting to do. This is just such a shame. Even though you're doing all that hard training sessions, like every training variable is optimized, because you don't recover, you don't get this candy. This is fucking sad. Because you're basically, you go in the gym or wherever you train, you do work harder than this guy who recovers well, but you get negative results from that. And now you question. I mean, you don't have to question. If you train hard and you get negative results, like either you're training too hard, either you're doing too much, or, which is more likely, you're just under recovering. So you're just not allowing your body to make adaptations. You're not allowing your body to adapt. You're not allowing yourself to collect results from your own training. Yeah, we could wrap this up on this point. So, if I want to grow to my fullest capacity, if I want my results from training to be as good as my training is, I need to sleep and eat as good as well as my training is. Yeah, that's it. Bye.